and diet. And so by the time you have a baby, they get less than you started with. And so this could be getting worse generation to generation. And I've just gone through all the negative impacts of what that means. So the things to help you get a healthy microbiome, eat a wide range of whole plant foods, aim for more than 30 different types a week. I've counted up my breakfast and I had 38 types of plants in my breakfast. I'm a bit of a fanatic, but I was just saying to Nina, she gave me a present after I helped her with some stuff of 3 spice mixes. And the Ras Al Hanout that I used this morning on my steamed kale, which I had before my porridge, has 23 different spices in it. So herbs and spices count, because you only need a little bit. Every little spice, every different plant will have some bacteria that is waiting for that fibre, because that's their thing, what they digest. And so the more plants you have, the more you support that diversity. So then I have porridge after my kale, which I put different greens in there too. I pick a few dandelion leaves, I get a few things from the garden, and be some chard in it, silver beet, or whatever's in my veggie box each week. But then I have porridge with as many different grains as I can get from a health food shop, and then as many berries. And I have a turmeric latte, which has got spices, cinnamon, cardamom, ginger, a couple of dates. So and a tiny bit of granola on top, so of the porridge. So that came to 38 different foods in my breakfast. That's what I've got in me today. So 30 should be no trouble. So that makes a difference. Eating whole plant foods. So, hang on, I've jumped away too much. So the other things that help us are being out in nature. So those hunter-gatherer tribes, they're not living in buildings. They're in nature with the diversity of plants, with soil, with all the microbes and fungi that are in the air, the spores we're breathing. Gardening is fantastic, getting it in the soil. You don't have to put your dirty hands in your mouth, you're just the dust, and we get inoculated. Pets are great to inoculate us. Dogs particularly running in and out, and they're not super hygienic. So we get microbes from living like that, which is good. And so these 3 terms, has anyone heard of these? Prebiotics, probiotics, postbiotics? So these are good to understand. So prebiotics are the whole plant food. So these are much better than the probiotics, except for the fermented food, which I'll come to. So this is what should be what we're eating. These foods have lots of fibre. That's what will confer good health. And it's better for the mother expecting to get pregnant, better for the pregnant mum, better for the infant. All the way through the life cycle, this confers lower risk of disease, all the way to, at the end, less risk of dementia. I've got another talk I do on that, which I've done for Vasundra at other meetings. So all those diseases that afflict us are reduced if we have more plants. So probiotics are the pills you can buy, and fermented foods, sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, if you can get, I wouldn't recommend a dairy-based one, but you can get some that are not dairy, or make your own. In the research from the Sonnenberg lab, they did a trial of what made the groups get the biggest increase in range of microbes, and they got people eating more fibre and more different plants. But the ones that did the best were the ones that had fermented foods several times a day. They got the biggest increase in diversity. So we make our own yogurt. I have a quarter of a cup of kombucha every day. You don't need to drink the whole bottle. It's just a soft drink. Might make you gain weight. But a little bit is enough to inoculate you. And a teaspoon or 2 of kimchi or sauerkraut, because they've got a lot of salt, but it's worth getting a little bit each day. So these things are good. If you cook something like sourdough, the microbes are dead. Obviously, if you put miso in your food and you cook it, it's going to kill them. But it's still a good thing to use a bit of, but they need to be live. So it should have a fizz and even bubble over when you open the lid, or make it yourself so you know the quality. But the pills are largely unregulated, highly variable. You don't know if they've been left on a hot airport tarmac and killed them all. There might be no viability. It's $1 billion industry, and the gut specialists say they're not needed. They're very rare examples where you might use them. And they can even slow your recovery from gut disorders. Say you had a big course of antibiotics, these won't help. They can slow you getting back your diversity. They're largely a waste of money, so get your microbes from the fermented foods. And these are ones I mentioned. So postbiotics are the things that the microbes make that are so valuable for us if you've got those bugs in your gut. So these are all those things on that picture: enzymes, genes, short-chain fatty acids, vitamins, amino acids, cell surface proteins, and organic acids. So we need all of these to function at optimum level. And they're even found in the cerebrospinal fluid, so they're crossing the blood-brain barrier. These are food for our intestinal cells. They help us in an enormous number of ways. So if we don't have the healthy population, we're not making all these things, we're missing out. And we're getting inflammation and disease being conferred instead. So last slide, the microbiome is absolutely foundational to good health. These other things are important, like sleep, physical activity, social connection, avoiding alcohol, cigarettes, being outdoors in the sun, managing your stress. I listened to a talk this morning on the Physicians Committee YouTube channel. I don't know if any of you have listened to that. Sleep, they've found, damages your microbiome if you're not sleeping well. It does make you more likely to choose rich food and unhealthy food the next day if you've had poor sleep. But even besides that, it damages the microbiome if your sleep is interrupted. Even social jet lag, like going to bed 2 hours later on the weekend than you do during the week, has a negative microbiome effect. As well as it's like a jet lag, like going to New Zealand, you're 2 hours different. So an extra stress impedes the microbiome, not moving enough. So these things are all interconnected, but the microbiome is just super, super foundational. It's hard to overstate how important it is. And every bit of new research comes out as reinforcing this. So that's all. Any questions or comments?
What was the YouTube channel?
Oh, Physicians Committee. Physicians. You know, the US call doctors, they call them physicians. Yeah. It's PCRM is the other way to find it. They do fabulous work. They've got a guy who's the host on that YouTube channel who lost about 300 pounds. He was morbidly obese, and he found out about eating this way, and he's now super healthy, a happy chappy, and having a great life. But it turned his life around. So he now runs that YouTube channel. Yes?
How we can test microbiome? Because I know that in Europe they have several microbiome tests.
Yeah. They're here too, and I see them.
Do you recommend any?
No, not yet. It's too early. The companies tend to produce these fancy, colourful reports with powerful sounding statements about where you are on a spectrum and pretty colours. I've seen lots of them. Patients bring them in and they pay hundreds of dollars for them. But it's over extrapolating from the science. We don't know enough yet to know what they mean. Because they might be testing at best 20 different microbes, and only the bacteria usually, maybe some fungi. But we should have hundreds. And it's too early. I'd say save your money. Assume that you've got somewhat impaired microbiome and do these things I've talked about to repair it.
Yes, in England it's about £200.
Yeah.
And then you have to do another one just to see if your diet can actually affect the biome.
It's become an industry. They're trying to make money from people. It costs a lot of money. I've seen people coming with, you know, all these different tests that some functional medicine doctors recommend, and it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars out of pocket. It's not needed as yet. It's over extrapolating. It will get to that point, but it might be quite a way off because it's such a complex ecosystem. You know, with the FMTs even, they're blunt instruments. They're just taking a slurry of poop and putting that in the person. It's like, it's pretty blunt and crude. They're looking at fractionating it and whether it should be anaerobic or aerobic. Most of the critters in here are anaerobic, meaning they don't like oxygen. They can't grow and live if there's any oxygen. So, you know, how they handle the FMTs is critical. There's so many unknowns. Which is the best mode of delivery, from the bottom up or the top down in a pill? down a tube, you know, but no, I'd save your money and wouldn't do the tests yet. It's still quite a bit too early. Sorry if anyone has shares in those companies.
Just before we get on to questions, we're just going to get you to